Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to do a quick video on general seizure first aid, especially for grand mal seizures. I know this is a really weird angle, but that's how I gotta get so I can show you guys. So, I'm sorry I'm gonna keep glancing down. I do have notes so I don't forget. So when a person has a seizure, most likely they're going to fall, just because a lot of the times when grand mals happen, you lose consciousness, and therefore like your whole body just kind of shuts down like a computer, and it has to take a bit to reboot. So at least when I have a seizure, I do fall. My husband is nice enough to always put a pillow under my head, because during the seizure I'm repeatedly hitting my head on the ground. So try to make sure like there is some kind of cushion. Would it be like a wrapped up blanket and put it under their head, or a pillow? Anything like soft that will help cushion their head so they aren't hitting it on the floor repeatedly. Secondly, make sure they are on their side. So if they fall, put this under their head and make sure they're on their side. You want to do this so that they don't, not only like if they were to vomit, so they don't choke on that. And when you're on your side, it helps breathing. And during seizures, usually you're kind of hyperventilating or just not getting enough air in general. If you're laying on your side, you can it just kind of calms you. It helps so you can just breathe easier, and when you wake up, you're not as sore for some reason, at least I've noticed. So definitely do that. Make sure, and I know this is a really hard one for most people, and I know a lot of people don't do it. My husband still doesn't do that to this day, really. Try to time the seizure. I know that you're probably going to be too busy worrying about getting the person into a good position or making sure that there are no objects around them so that they could possibly bump into that or rub on something and just get hurt in general. So move things out of the way. Pretty much make a giant area for this person. Make sure they are comfortable. Make sure you are there to console them when they come to. Try to time it, because timing is very important. When it comes to a seizure, you want it preferably not to be long at all. If it goes over 5 minutes, call an ambulance immediately. Not only can this be lack of oxygen, but it can cause permanent brain damage or even death. So seizures, usually you just kind of have to wait it out. There really is not a way to make it stop unless they have a rescue med. I have rescue medication that I can take. It doesn't like stop the seizure, at least in my case. It can kind of prevent them from happening. So when I feel one coming on, I do take a rescue medication, and most of the time I don't really have the seizure. I just end up sleeping a lot. So that is a big thing. Remember to stay with the person. Don't just go run off and do something. Stay with the person, make sure they are okay, make sure they aren't choking, they aren't suffocating, they are able to breathe. Now, if this is the person's first time having a seizure, you also want to call 911 or get them to a hospital immediately. It's not normal to just drop and have a seizure. Not normal. You definitely want to get checked out. Don't restrain a person. Now, when they're having their seizure, I know you're going to feel helpless, and there's not a lot you can do besides getting them on their side. That's pretty much all you can do besides watch them, make sure they're okay. Otherwise, you just kind of have to sit there and kind of wait it out. The seizure will end, and the person will either kind of be out of it for a while, or they will slowly come to, most of the time questioning what had happened, or like why they're on the floor, or just hurting in general. And another thing, don't put in like anything in a person's mouth. Don't. It's a misconception that, oh, if someone's having a seizure, they're gonna choke on their tongue. That's physically impossible. So please, don't put anything in the person's mouth. All you're gonna do is either make them gag, possibly make them throw up, or you're gonna end up choking them yourself. You're gonna end up doing it. So don't put anything in their mouth. Just make sure they're okay. I mean, it's kind of one of those common things, at least to me, maybe. What else do we have? Sorry, I'm very forgetful right now. So what they always say is there are the 3 S's when it comes to seizures. Stay, which we talked about. You want to stay with the person when they are having a seizure. And you want to make sure that you are timing it, you want to keep the objects away from them, overall making sure they are safe. Which is the next S, which is safe. Moving objects, preventing anything from falling on them, or just preventing them from getting hurt in general. I mean, yeah, they probably fell and hit their head, or got hurt in some way, but you can still prevent them from getting even more hurt. The last one would be side, which is rolling them on their side, so they can't choke on vomit, they can't, it'll help them when they're hyperventilating, just kind of calm down. You just want the person on their side. Don't leave them on their back. They could choke, it makes it harder to breathe, like get air, hyperventilating usually, or just gasping for air in general, because during a seizure, not all the time are you breathing correctly. You're not taking those nice breaths. No, you're most likely hyperventilating or gasping for air. So now, another big thing, which I do have down, you want to call 911, obviously, if the person is having a seizure for longer than 5 minutes because of the brain damage or death. You also want to call immediately if you see a person fall, even if it's a shower, whether it's a bath, shower, whatever. If there is water involved, you want to call an ambulance. They could be drowning. Even in a shower. You can drown in a shower. So make sure that if you see someone fall, like shower, bath, whatever, get them out of the water. Call 911. They could drown. Make sure they are on their side. Maybe they could cough up some water if they do consume it. Get it out. Obviously, if the person is severely injured, you definitely want to call 911. If they are pregnant, definitely want to call 911 just in case, because you don't want the baby injured. Obviously, you don't want the mom to be injured either. But the baby, if you do fall, which I have in the past, fall right on your stomach, it could hurt the baby. Obviously, if the person is sick or they just aren't coming to, you definitely want to call 911, or at least get them to a hospital, make sure they are okay, and kind of get the underlying of why they're having the seizure, why they aren't coming to. Another big factor that I'll do another video on some other facts, but my last thing before I end this video is epilepsy doesn't discriminate for people. I have said in the past video that 1 out of 26 people will have epilepsy in their life. So epilepsy doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter what age you are, they don't care about gender, it doesn't care about what race you are, it doesn't care about anything. Epilepsy can take over anybody's life. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care. I mean, I know it's a disorder, it doesn't have personality, whatever. What I'm saying is, it is one of the most common neurological diseases worldwide, and a lot of people don't know about it. Yet a lot, and I mean a lot, like over 50 million people worldwide have been diagnosed with epilepsy. And I think that's within a year. I'll get the facts for that. But just overall, I think it is very important that everyone knows the proper first aid, that if the person falls, get something soft put under their head. Make sure they are on their side so they don't choke. When they're hyperventilating, like they can spit out whatever they have consumed, because some people were eating during it. They can just get it all out. So stay with them, try to time it. I know it's really hard, but do your best at least guesstimating a time, or just moving objects out of the way, making sure the person is safe, nothing's falling on them, and that you can do whatever you can to make sure that the seizure unfortunately goes as smooth as possible, because it will end. It just takes time. And I know it feels like forever and you feel helpless, but you can help this person who is having a seizure just by following those decently simple rules of getting them on a comfy surface so they aren't hitting their head, making sure they are on their side, moving objects out of the way, making sure the person is okay. And I think that is pretty much all I have for first aid. I do think it's a really good idea that people learn how to do the first aid, do it properly. This can prevent a lot of future deaths when someone's having a seizure. It could help in general if you just saw someone in public having one, that you can assist in helping them. In general, it is a good thing to know, just like how it is good to know the Heimlich. It is good to know just if someone was having an allergy, an allergic reaction, or an asthma attack. It's just decent to know simple first aid. And it's not that hard. It really isn't. I know it seems like it, but it's not hard, and it doesn't take that long to learn. And just remember, stay calm. That is another big thing, is if you're freaking out, when the person who comes to from having the seizure is probably going to freak out and panic as well, because they don't really know what happened. Stay calm. Just, now, I don't want to say relax, but keep your cool. Make sure the person's okay. Try to comfort them when they come to. I know you're going to be scared. You're going to feel helpless. Just do the best you can. Try the first aid that I have mentioned, and hopefully all goes well. Thank you everybody for watching this video. I will get a video with some interesting epilepsy facts here soon. Thank you. Learn the first aid and stay seizure free.